Do I believe that we got a massive problem? I do. Do I believe the climate is changing because of carbon? I do. Do I think we ought to do something about it? Absolutely. Should it be significant? Yes. I want to start with that. Now the but. And I'm sure the way I framed that, at least some of you were expecting that there was going to be a but. I don't want to disappoint you. Well, here's the but. That's B-U-T. You've got to do it in a way which does not discriminate against certain sections of our country, particularly the industrial north, which will work in terms of this being a global problem, which means you've got to have the major countries, the major polluters involved. It's not going to work without China, India. It can't just be the countries that have been the major polluters. It's got to be the countries that are now and are going to be the major polluters. Otherwise, you can't succeed. So you need a global deal. And if you can't get one, the question is, what are we going to do? Are we going to just do nothing if other countries produce products more cheaply because they don't pollute, and then bring more and more of those other products into this country and put our producers at a competitive disadvantage because we have controls, hopefully, over the amount of carbon dioxide that goes into the atmosphere? That's a very significant question that we all got to think about. It's great, and I have to support a movement that says let's not continue to bring danger to this earth. But you got to do it in a way which works. So one of the ideas is that products coming from countries that don't sign up to an international accord on carbon are going to be taxed. And that tax could go to carbon reduction, but they're going to be taxed. We're not going to let countries take advantage economically and competitively by failing to comply with international standards on carbon dioxide. So that's one issue that needs to be addressed, as well as the first issue, which is the distribution of those so-called allowances. If you have a cap and trade system, you've got to have something to trade. They're called allowances. Those allowances are distributed to various sectors in various ways. That's got to be done in a fair way, including places such as Michigan. It can be done in a fair way, but it's a significant effort to make sure of that. And finally, on this subject, that bill, cap and trade bill, there's one other thing which I've put a lot of focus on. I believe that climate change is a global problem. It is not, put it this way, a ton of carbon dioxide that's emitted anywhere in the world has the same effect no matter where it is emitted. A ton of carbon dioxide emitted in California has the same impact as Missouri, has the same impact as Michigan, has the same impact as New York. It's a global issue. California wants to have a waiver so that it can impose different, in California's case, higher standards. Whatever the standard is, they want the right to have a higher standard. That undermines the entire argument that this is a global issue, and it creates a serious competitive problem, particularly with so-called mobile sources, automobiles, trucks. Be for a tough standard. I'm all for it. It's got to be a national standard and hopefully an international standard. It cannot be state by state with different standards. So I've drawn a very firm line on this issue. And my folks, my friends in the environmental community know, and they're very clear and open about this. Stationary sources, utilities are a different issue. You don't have a competitive disadvantage on that the way you do on automobiles. You're mobile. So I've told the environmental community there's got to be a national standard, hopefully a global standard. Make it tough. I'm all for that. It's got to be uniform in order to avoid unfair competitive advantages and disadvantages among the auto industry and the auto producers.
Do you think that President Obama can succeed in closing Guantanamo Bay?